Hello, Dan Spitz, co-founder and lead guitarist of the group Anthrax. This is Matthew here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I'm going to show you how I cut the invisible bifocals with Transitions Xtra Active and Crizal Anti-Glare for your new Rayban 2140 original Wayfarer color 902 in the 50i size. Let's go ahead and take the frame out of the original packaging that it comes in. Your Italian leather Rayban case, your Rayban frame, your Rayban cleaning cloth, and of course you get a little book in here of junk mail going throughout the history of Rayban, because they just don't get enough junk mail in your mailbox, so they have to put it in eyeglass cases now. But that's all the original packaging that it comes with, and of course it also comes with a little plastic sleeve on the left temple to prevent the temples from rubbing together during shipping, and of course you're going to get all of that. These are the original sunglass lenses that come in there. Let me pull the sticker off, and let's go ahead and get your lenses removed from the frame. Take out your original heavy glass lenses, set those down on the counter, and now this is what we're left with. The color 902 is a very dark tortoise, and I'm going to put your frame into the stylus of my tracer. Come on, get in there, and let's wake it up and hit trace and go. And of course the first thing that's going to happen is the stylus is going to pop up and trace the shape of the right lens before moving over and tracing the shape of the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy a genuine authentic frame, authentic Rayban frame, and you will receive free clear single vision prescription or non-prescription fashion lenses. If you have vision insurance or flex dollars you're not using and you want a really cool geek chic frame, my receipt has my federal ID tax number, so you can get reimbursed from your vision insurance company or flex dollars, just so you can rock one of the greatest frames in US history. So that is your frame. Let me set that down now. Let's go ahead and get your lenses prepped. Although, hang on, I can do a little bit more here. Let's go ahead. That is the shape of your lens magnified. When I bring it down, hopefully you can see that little green circle there, or the green shape, and that is the final shape of your lens. Let's go ahead and get it magnified. I'm going to enter your pupillary distance, which is 28.5 for your left eye, and the bifocal height of 21. So I'm going to go there. In fact, when I switch over, let's do the same thing. You are identical, which is rare. 28.5 on the left, and again 21 millimeters is the height of the bifocal on that side. Let's pull the right side back up. Now we can go over and get your lenses prepped. So these are how your lenses are sent to me from the multi-billion-dollar labs. This is all the packaging with all the technical data that goes with your lenses. I'll throw that away now. Your lenses come in these little protective sleeves, and this is going to take a few minutes extra because this is some of the prepping that has to be done to cut the invisible bifocal. I'm going to turn this on where you get a really cool psychedelic effect in the background. And all invisible bifocals have two little laser marks on each side. Also underneath that is the brand of lens you're wearing, as well as the bifocal power. And I'm going to clean all of that off. I never trust the lab's original markings, because whoever's job it is at the lab does this about 2,000 times a day, and I know they get real bored, and it's the least trained person working there. So if you look real closely, if you're able to, when you get these, you will see two circles on opposite sides of your lens. And I always like to underline the bifocal power, and that tells me that it's the left lens when it's on the outside. I'm going to do the same thing now for the right lens. Put a little dot in the center there, a little dot on the outside there, and underline and mark that one the right. Now I have this layout chart here. I flip your lens over. The reason I put those two dots, I have these two circles, which is exactly what your lens is like, and I'm going to overlay that, and that is going to tell me your optical center of your lens. I'm going to do the same thing now for the left eye. After placing the two dots where they're supposed to go, I'm going to put that dot there. Is all this boring you, Mr. Rockstar? Well, tough. You got to stick along for another 20 or 25 minutes. So let's go ahead and take your right lens. I'm going to put it on the little platform here, and that dot is going to be your optical center. In fact, where's my stylus? There it is. Let's pull up a change of the layout chart, and the reason why these two dots are on opposite sides is it tells me exactly how this lens has to be oriented into the frame. It gives me a horizontal meridian. So the blue square is the geographic center of your frame, I'm gonna put the dot there at the optical center, and then make sure, rotate the lens until this is, each one is sitting perfectly on that line, and that tells me that is perfect. Let me just double check my measurements. 28.5 and 21 high, 28.5, 21 high, 28, and yes, we're good to go. So this is a block. This is what's going to be attached to your lens while it is cutting. So I need a double-sided adhesive sticker. In fact, let's go ahead and use these. Let's see if I can get the stickers out. Come on, stickers. Peel one off. The green side is the sticky side. I'm going to stick this onto the block. Do the same thing now for this side. Put that on there. Pull the piece of paper away to expose the sticky side. And this little silver button is a magnet. I'm going to place that in there. And then I'm going to hit this button. And that's going to drop the arm down and place the block onto the lens. Let's do the same thing now for the left lens. Get everything, this automatically flips over to the left shape. Get your optical center, dead center there. Get these two sitting perfectly on that line, that third line. And we're good to go there. So that lens is oriented just perfectly. Pull the piece of paper off there. Put that in its place. Hit the button again. The lever drops down. The arm places the block onto the lens. And both your lenses are prepped and ready to go. So I'm going to place your lens inside the machine now. The actual cutting wheel is over here on the far right. It's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper that grinds away your lens material. This wheel in the center is what's going to put the V-shaped bevel onto the lens so that it fits inside the bevel of the frame. And then a wheel you can't see right there is going to put on the safety bevel, which is just going to smooth out the edges of your lens. So with that silver button in mind, I'm going to place it into the chuck, or as I like to call it, the Charles, because I don't know the machine well enough to call it chuck. And then let's pull the shape of your lens up onto the computer. These are polycarbonate lenses, so that's why it is the PC. I could change the lens material, plastic, Trivex, high index plastic, but we're going to stay there. Because of the anti-glare coating, we're going to take it off that one red star and put it on the two green stars, which is the softer, slower cycle. We are not going to polish the edges. And then I had just hit the start button. The door closes, the clamp shuts, and then two styluses are going to come down, and it's going to trace the shape of your right lens to make sure this lens is large enough to fit into the frame. And it's actually measuring the front and the back surface as it goes around to make sure to know exactly where to place the bevel. Now, you do not have a thick lens with your prescription, but it's still going to measure exactly where to place the bevel so it fits best inside the frame. It can move it forward or it can move it backwards depending on where it would need to sit. Now it's just about to drop down onto the cutting wheel. And eventually you will hear a grinding sound. There we go. Now your lenses are made out of polycarb. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. But the nice thing about it is these are virtually unbreakable. They are bulletproof up to 22 caliber and has both UVA and UVB protection built into the lens. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes. Unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that have to be reapplied, this will never need to. Now, if you notice, it is actually completely dry inside. Polycarbonate cuts dry, where plastic and high index cut wet. Now it's going to measure again for a second time just to verify exactly where to place the bevel. Right now your lens is completely flat around the edges like a nickel. I could take it out now and it would stand up on its own, but it's measuring again exactly where it's following the contour of the lens, going all the way around to know exactly where to place the bevel, so for the best cosmetic fit inside of the frame. Now it's going to go down onto the bevel wheel and get the V-shaped bevel. It's a knife-like bevel. A very dull knife like me, but a knife-like bevel nonetheless. But this lens will be so sharp that you'll be able to cut wet tissue, providing that you soak the tissue in a bucket of water overnight and then press down really hard. Then it just might be able to cut through the tissue. So Danny boy, what a nice Irish name. Oh, Danny boy. So I read his bio. He grew up in Belfast, Northern Ireland. dreaming of working side by side with his dad in the coal mines. But his dad said, no, you must go to New York one day and play guitar. And much against his will, he did it to honor his father. And look what happened. Now, water has kicked in to start washing away any optical debris that could be on the edge of the lens. That's why it looks like it's in a car wash. It's also, the little wheel is spinning, putting the safety bevel on the back surface of the lens before doing the front surface. Actually, I guess it started with the front. Now it's doing the back surface. Okay, so the lens is at its close to its final shape. I'm going to take the lens. The door opens automatically. I'm gonna hit the button to open up the chuck. Take the magnet away that's holding it in, dry your lens off, and let's go ahead and see if this fits into the frame, which I will be very skeptical if it does. But just like with, let's just see first. I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner first, then using my thumbs, nope, not even close. But just like wood, the golden rule with cutting lenses, you can always cut more off of a lens, you can never add it back on. So I start a little bit large, and I'm actually going to take 1/4 of a millimeter off in 0.5 increments until we get to the final size. Put that back inside, hit the retouch button, the door closes, the clamp shuts, and this time it's just going to go straight to the bevel wheel. The 2140 has a deeper than average bevel compared to most frames. Now I'm wearing the Rayban 2132, which is the new Wayfarer. This is the original Wayfarer in my left hand, designed in 1952, and there's no other frame that is more iconic in American history. Musicians from Bob Dylan to presidents like JFK have worn this frame, and everyone in between. Now, they redesigned it in 1992, and this is called the new Wayfarer, model number 2132. The original has a little bit of what is known as panoscopic tilt, where the top of the frame sits away from the eyebrows and the bottom of the frame sits closer to the cheek, where my frame is more vertical. The temples on both of them are just about the same shape. Only the difference is this one's a little more rounded, this one's a little bit more rectangular. Let me put mine back on, my invisible bifocals, so I can see what I'm doing, yo. So we will take this out. Now, since leaving the group in 1995, Dan has devoted his life to watch repair, going to the Bulova School of Watch Repair, where they take very few students a year, learning from the great masters. So if he's so good with clock repair, I've got a VCR that keeps flashing 12 noon on it. I'm going to send him that VCR. Maybe he can fix it where it sets the right time. Now, trust me, when I plug it back in, I bet it won't flash 12 anymore. Because that guy is that good. Ain't you, Dan? Okay, so the lens is dried off. Let's again see if it'll fit into the frame easily. I tuck it in at the outside corner using my thumbs, press down the nose. Now it snaps in easily. Let's do the same thing now for the left lens. Let's flip it over to L, which in Latin stands for not right, just like me. And I want to go ahead and put the lens into the chuck, or as I like to say, the Charlie. Hit the door, the clamp closes. And this time it's going to trace the shape of the left lens, the caliper's wheel, going all the way around, measuring the front and the back surface at the same time. And again, measuring the thickness of the prescription of the left lens to make sure it fits perfectly inside the frame, where you have no edge thickness exposed. And of course, these are aspheric lenses, which is a much flatter lens, giving you a wider field of view. A spherical lens is just that. It is round in every direction like a basketball, and an aspheric lens is much flatter, giving you a much better cosmetic appearance. I'm going to pop that off. My dots are gone. My dots are gone. So let's go back over here. I'm going to go ahead and inspect the right lens. I'm going to need to put those dots back on there again. Forgive the psychedelic effect, the dots in the background. And use the layout chart once again. And now your right eye reads plus 75 minus 150 at 5. I'm going to spin the axis wheel of my Marco 101 lensometer to 5. Put it in just above the red dot. And I'm going to read the prescription of plus 75. We have, let's turn my flashlight on. Grab my phone. This is my wife's cat, Mr. Whiskers. Let me pull up the app for my flashlight. Oh, back to flashlight. Come on, flashlight. So we start at 0, which is Plano, non-prescription. Go up in quarter increments, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1. Now you have 1.5 diopters of astigmatism, and I'll explain that in a moment. Let me check the correction of that. And we end up at 0.75 because we were at plus 75. We're going to go back down to 0, and actually we're at 150. I'm sorry, forgive my math. Remember high school algebra where you add unlike signs together? So if you had 75 cents and someone had borrowed $1.50 from you, you end up at minus 75. So that's where we're at now on the wheel. Hopefully, let me turn this back on so you can see that. Come on, flashlight. Where's technology when you need it? Okay, minus 75. So that is there. The way your prescription works, everything is in quarter increments starting at 0 and going up from there. 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, 1.25, 150, and so on. So you need 3 steps of correction for your nearsightedness. Without your glasses on, everything is much smaller than it appears in real life. So your right lens will magnify. This is your right lens going from left to right across the top. Will magnify 3 steps to make everything the correct size. Now you need an additional 6 steps for astigmatism correction. This first number gets everything the correct size. Astigmatism is what makes everything blurry, like 6s and 8s or the letters P and F. Think of it as the fine-tune knob. And on a scale, in a perfect circle from 0 to 90, 180, 270 back to 0 again, a straight line is 0 to 180. We're just going to turn to 5. We're just going to turn that knob just a little bit to make everything nice and crisp. Now your left eye reads plus 75 minus 150 at 175. So you're actually identical with your powers, which again is rare. You need 3 steps to magnify. You need another 6 steps to correct for astigmatism. But we're going to turn that knob to 175 all the way over here. Now a straight line is 0 to 180. 5 is just right here. 175 is here. So you're only 5 degrees from that 180 meridian. Even though those numbers look very far apart, they're very close to the 180. Now, astigmatism, that's why everything is blurry with your eyes open. The way astigmatism works is everything's dark when your eyes are closed. So you got that going for you. That's working perfectly. So let's go ahead and take your left lens out. Come on, left lens. And of course, he has moved on to a new style of music. He plays a guitar flat across his lap now. It's got some new music coming out in January. It is a, oh, I can't remember this right, Weissenborn guitar. It was a German guitar maker who did that. And he's taking on a new form of music, which I'm going to have to check out because I have a wide variety of music that I like to listen to. I have a wide range. I listen to everything from Daryl Hall to John Oates and everything in between. So I've got to check that out too. So let me tuck this in at the outside corner first. Using my thumbs, I press down at the nose. It snaps in perfectly. Let's go ahead and take that block off. My red dot is gone again. Who's been stealing my red dots? So let's get everything lined up so I can inspect this one. Actually, the dot is there. It was just needed to be magnified. Put that one there. And I'm going to put the lens in, spin the axis wheel again from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to 0, which is the 180, and then to 175, which is only 5 degrees off of that. I'm going to put the lens in, turn the knob, and I'm getting plus 75. Come on, Mr. Whiskers. Come on, where's technology? This thing is way too advanced for me. Come on, smartphone, dumb down. All right, back to the apps, back to the flashlight. I just need to get a better light over here. So we're at 0.75. That is your spherical magnification that you need. Let me check for your astigmatism correction. And again, we're at minus 75, which is a 150 degree swing from plus 75 down to 0 on a number wheel to minus 75. So that is made correctly. Now your pupillary distance is 28.5 in both eyes, which comes out to 28 and 28 is 56, so 57. I'm going to turn the back of my card over. I'm going to place the 0 on my PD stick on your right lens, and we're getting 57. So that is made perfectly there. I want to go ahead and clean your lens off. Now, Dan, when you get this in the mail, there's a small chance that these will be too loose or too tight. However, there is an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That's because 80% of people have one ear that's higher than the other. And because of that, that's why 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. But I'm going to get it in standard alignment first, also known as a 3-point stance. So the 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set it on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, I'm part of that 80%. When I take mine off and I set them down, mine wobble on the counter, but they sit level on me. Flip them over, press down. There is no wobble. Close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly and the temples are not skewed. Hang on, I see another spot I got to clean. By the way, I will be including one of my premium microfiber cleaning cloths, as well as instructions on how to care not just for your glasses, but for my cloth and your Rayban cleaning cloth, so they will last you for years, as well as a photo request to have your picture on the website. Now this is what your lenses look like while they are clear. You can see how they magnify over the print when I hold them above that. Now let's go ahead and activate the transition portion of the lens. I'm going to expose them to a strong burst of UV light. Now as you can see, it takes about 30 to 45 seconds for the lenses to darken. It takes a little bit longer when you come back inside, 45 seconds to a minute 15. Now Dan, this is important. All transition lenses will turn dark on day 1. Give them 2 weeks. They're going to continue to darken every day for the first 2 weeks until they get to their final setting. After that, they will work for years with maximum performance. The only time they will not work is if you're behind the windshield in a traditional car. Your windshield blocks all the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays so your dashboard does not crack. That is why your lenses do not turn dark in a car. Now if you have a convertible or a motorcycle, they will darken. They're also temperature sensitive, meaning they won't turn as dark when it's 85 to 90 degrees and above as they will when it's 85 and below. When it's over triple digits, you're miserable, they're miserable. No one likes to work 100% when it's that hot. Now, you did order the Transitions Extra Active. Once exposed, they will get darker than the regular transition lenses. This is just the first time they've been exposed, and again, as I mentioned, we just covered that. They're going to get a lot darker. So that is that. Oh, one more thing I wanted to show you since you're into the watch repair. Here's a few of my early designs for my steampunk glasses. I've taken the watch gears and I've attached them to the Wayfarish looking frame. Of course, these are just the clock parts that I've heated up to several hundred degrees and then inserted them into the frame, so you can wear these and not worry about them popping out. I know it's primitive, hey, for an artist like yourself, but we all have to start somewhere, and this is my garage band of steampunk design, and who knows where I'll be in another couple years, but that's where I'm starting at. So that's that. If anyone has any questions about what I can or can't do, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. Dan, co-founder and lead guitarist, sorry, I've had a little bit too much to drink tonight, of the group Anthrax. I just want to thank you for choosing me. You could have gotten your glasses from anyone, but you got them from the guy who's going to give you free prescription lenses. Well played, sir. And hopefully everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.